Hey guys, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel. I have been filming today. I just got through filming this eye look. While I was filming the eye look, I also decided that it was time to give you guys an updated foundation and concealer routine. I have recently been learning some things about having mature skin and how to disguise my fine lines and wrinkles and to not be crepey or cakey looking, to give myself a more youthful glow and to hide some of those fine lines. And you'll see here that I have changed up my routine. I have some really great tips for you in this video. I hope that you keep watching and I hope that you enjoy. Just stick with me and I will get into a bare face and show you guys how I get my new routine down and all of the secret, wonderful, awesome new tips I have for you guys to get a very natural and very youthful glow with your foundation and concealer routine. Okay guys, the way that I have been starting my new routine is with the Smashbox Photo Finish Primerizer. This is everything that everybody says it is. It is amazing. I love it. It does give you a more moisturized feeling in your face, but primes at the same time. But just to be on the safe side, I always go in with my Scandinavia primer and finishing spray. So what I do is I go ahead and go in with the primer spray, which is this one. You got to shake it a little bit, but I do like to go ahead and do this. And yeah, I'm filming this too, so I'm filming 2 videos at once here. Trying to get some good content up for you guys, but you'll be seeing this green eyeshadow look soon. It's part of my cocktail series, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, so I just go in, and yeah, it looks rough. I know it does. My hair looks terrible, and so does my background. I'm working on building that. Okay, so I let that dry. And then I go in with a pump or 2 of this. And that's just, you know, good enough for me. Rub my hands and then I just kind of, I do get it definitely in the center of my face and my forehead. Since my forehead tends to be drier, my skin has been really going through it lately, guys. I mean, like dry, but yet breaking out. I've had some really bad texture through here. It's been peeling because I've been using a lot of different kinds of products. I've been using, you know, like a peel and some other things, trying really hard to clear my nose up, and then also my chin started. So once I got my nose semi-cleared up, and you can see there's still some spots here. Oh my gosh, guys, it's been terrible. I mean, having mature skin that is problematic is new to me. But I mean, I have some scarring here where it literally looks like holes in the side of my, so I was using this Professional. It was just one of the little things. Guys, I don't recommend it. Now, I'm sure you have seen a lot of people on YouTube, if you watch a lot of makeup videos, you've seen a lot of people use primers that have a lot of dimethicone, silicone, that sort of thing in there. And it really does, it fills the pores in very nicely. It gives you a nice smooth surface. The problem with that is that it makes the large pores that you have larger and larger and larger. They just get packed. My face was so congested, and I have been spending all this time trying to get it uncongested. I've been trying to empty the pores. I've been using masks. I've been using a charcoal mask. I've been using peels. I've been trying to do everything I can to extract some of this junk out of my skin. But what it did is across my nose and around my nose here, the pores they started visibly getting much, much larger. And that was the only thing that I had changed in my routine, was adding that. And so now I'm scared of it because I went to YouTube and I kind of looked up, you know, silicone primers and that sort of thing. And it's scary. It's really scary just how much larger it makes your pores. And the scars that I have that tend to get clogged, they were getting clogged very badly. And then the other pores that were not so bad became much larger, more impacted, and it was a breakout from hell. I mean, that's just all that I can really say. So I would not suggest using a pore filling primer with silicone because it's very difficult to get out or off once you put it on, and it does make the pores larger. So they're being truthful in those videos because I've experienced it now. So I'm not going to be using that anymore unless some weird reason happens, some weird special occasion or something, I can't imagine doing that to my face again because I've been really struggling so hard. So anyway, now that the primerizer is set down since I've been talking, I just go in with my different color correcting and that sort of thing. Now I am going to go in with my color correcting. Oh, and I need to wet my beauty blender. Let me wet my beauty. Okay, I'm just going to go in and do a little bit of color correcting right where I have the worst broken capillaries. And because I have a little bit of redness around my nose area here, I'm just going to kind of dab that just a little bit just to take down the redness a little bit. I just kind of bounce on it just a little bit just to spread it out some. And that's really all I've been doing for color correcting. I've just been going strictly on just the areas that are most red, the broken capillaries, blemishes, things like that. I've found since I've started using the Smashbox foundation that it's a very heavy coverage, which is great, and that's what I look for, but I don't have to color correct near as much as I did. But I've learned a few tricks here with having more mature skin. You have to change the way you do things. You can't do things the way that you've done them your whole life. 20-year-old skin is very different from 50-year-old skin. So I have to, and I know that's very red still, but it toned it down just a little bit. Okay, so when it comes to color correcting around my eyes, you guys know that I really love the Smashbox pencil. But what I have learned is that I have to be really careful around my eye area. Because I have these fine lines and wrinkles and I have these little crevasses, these crevices that are so deep, and you can see the depth of them. You know, they've recently gotten deeper. Before it was more color and it was almost like an optical illusion, because when you would look at me, if those were, you know, filled in or camouflaged, then it was obvious that the skin was pretty smooth there. It was just a discoloration. Now I have roll bags, and so I have been trying to really work with my skin, and I have found a routine for the foundation and concealer that works beautifully. It helps hide the fine lines and wrinkles. It gives you much smoother surface without having to put a smoothing primer or anything like that there. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to lightly fill in the darkest areas with this pencil. It's a very creamy pencil. I'll put it in the outside corner right there because I have a lot of darkness there and some there. Now what I had been using was a brush, but what I have found is if I use my ring finger for these different things, it works so much better. So I'm just going to go in. There's something about the warmth of the finger, and it does not blend it out quite as much. And using the ring finger, that's your weakest finger. So what it seems to do is just very lightly, without tugging away. Now you're going to see my skin move because I'm 50 and my skin's loose, and you know, I have the bags and the wrinkles, the crow's feet, I have all of that. I have a tremendous amount of wrinkling under my eyes now. But this new routine has just been groundbreaking for me. But I found that instead of using a brush, that I'm able to blend it without it losing product, because when I use a brush, the product actually gets on my brush and it takes it more away from my eyes. Also, I've noticed that I can actually, when I can feel how much product I'm putting there, I seem to do better and it looks better. I have found that the less product under my eyes, the more youthful I look. So the notion, which this works for the younger crowd, I mean it really does, but the triangular thing and highlighting all over with concealer, tart shape tape, or whatever you might use, I've just found that the more product, the more aged you look. And it does not matter how you set it or anything like that. It really does cling into those fine lines. So the least amount of product that you can get by with, the better. So by using my finger, I'm able to lightly camouflage, and you can see that it has helped tremendously. Now, what I've been doing with the Smashbox Studio Skin 15-Hour Wear Hydrating Foundation, I fell asleep in my makeup. Guys, this stuff, it says that it will last for 24 hours. It will. I woke up and my makeup looked exactly like it did when I went to bed the night before. I was so exhausted. We had been to the wedding. The last 2 weeks have been really crazy for me. We had been to the wedding and I was just like exhausted. So I went back to the hotel, fell asleep in my makeup, woke up the next morning, and I looked like I did when I got ready for the wedding. It was crazy. So, yeah, I mean, you know, I'm going in with my Love is the Foundation It Cosmetics foundation brush. I'm just going to put a little bit on there. Now, another thing that I have noticed when it comes to my foundation routine is that I don't put a tremendous amount on my forehead. And it's going to look like a lot at first just because it's, you know, going to be doing a lot of coverage, but I go back and I build up the coverage on the rest of my face. But what I have found is that if I pat with a brush to blend it out and don't just go in and rub it and really grind it in, it seems to have a nicer finish. Now, there are places where I am going to blend, like around my hairline there, like this. I'll buff a little bit, but the rest of it, I want to just tap. And it seems to go in better with this particular brush than with a beauty blender or something like that. So there's that. Now, I have these lines between here. I do try to pat through those, and I like to pat along the edges of my brow. I've already used a pencil, I just haven't set them with my brow mascara yet. But that is the finish, which is a really nice semi-natural looking finish. It's a little bit more of a satin finish than it is a matte finish. And for you know, a more mature skin type, you need to use something that has more of a matte, not more of a matte, but more of a silky natural finish. The high matte foundations emphasize dry skin, and the older you get, the drier your skin is. So that's just what I have found. Now I'm going to go in, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just coming down the center of my face. I do my forehead and down the center of my face first. I start by bouncing all along. And what this does is it disperses the product evenly before I start blending. And I just go all over in the center of my face, around my mouth, and then I start blending out the edges just a bit. And you see that I am avoiding my under eye area. Now, I am going to brush and buff where the makeup meets under my chin. And I'll do that on my jawline as well. Buffing actually takes away some of your coverage. Let's do the same thing with each cheek. And you'll see, especially this, it really helps camouflage that very well. This is a really, really good foundation, and I love the fact that it's not a high matte. Not only does it camouflage because it has good coverage, but my skin does not look dehydrated and drawn, that sort of thing. So this is really no different than using a beauty blender. I'm just using this really tight, compact brush. You can use any foundation brush. I have like the Sigma F80, I think it is, that is really good for blending as well. It's, you know, made for buffing in your foundation, but I've just found that I get a very, especially with wrinkles, I get a very good and natural coverage with my foundation by bouncing with the brush. It does not leave any stroke marks or anything like that. And it does cover very well. Now I'll come back after I get the entire face done and I will add more to increase the coverage in the areas that I need it. And I do need that, you know, on any problematic areas, any areas that you want to camouflage. Always go back, and if you want to do another, you know, layer, you can. I would suggest, unless you're, you know, seriously needing to cover something on your forehead, I would suggest that you stay away from your forehead. Put one layer on your forehead, one coat on it, but then leave it alone. Your forehead is going to show a lot of expression lines and that sort of thing, and it really, as long as it's a good coverage, I've got a piece of glitter there, as long as you have a decent amount of coverage, anything like I have freckles, as long as those are evened out, you really only need that one layer of makeup on your forehead. And you can go back and bounce at whatever product you have after adding in your face. You can go in and you can buff if you want to, like I just did. But I would suggest not putting but just one layer of foundation on your forehead, because typically our forehead is dry and it has many more lines in it. So I'm going back in, and I'm going to go just in the areas that I really feel like I want to camouflage the most. So I'm just going to kind of do the center of my cheeks and around my nose. I'm not going to do the entire face. I'm just going in for extra coverage. And you can see how well disguised my beauty mark, age spot, liver spot. Everybody has such weird names for that. But you can see that it's well camouflaged now. And you can see also that I have not gone underneath my eyes. Going underneath my eyes would be disastrous with mature skin. But I've got some really great tricks and tips when we get to concealer also. So this is not just a typical foundation routine. This is what I've been doing lately that I have seen really works good for me. And I just blend my ear, a little behind it, and down, so there's no lines. Now I look very yellow right now. Let me show you what I look like in daylight. Okay, now you can see, now I look a little red right now, but that's because I'm hot. It's hot in here. But I mean, you can see that I do have a lot of texture. See the texture that I have? My face feels smooth, but when you look at it, especially like when you look at my nose and things like that, you can see, like, sometimes I have to go in and give it an extra, you know, press that product in. But overall, and when I'm not hot and pink from it, this actually does match my skin tone. It looks very off on camera right now, but I think that you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Okay, you can see all of the lines in my forehead, all of my expression lines. So that's why you don't want to put much up there. And you can keep going in and patting out. If you see creases forming before you get everything, you know, set with powder, then go ahead, you know, and bounce on those. Don't swipe, bounce. It makes a huge difference with mature skin to bounce rather than swiping or buffing. Okay, I'm going to put my foundation away. Oh, and I didn't tell you, but I am in 3.02, which is a medium skin tone, and the undertone is a neutral olive, which you may not think fits me, but with a tan, it's definitely my summer color. So I'm going to go in now. I'm going to go in with my concealer. Now, the concealer that I'm going to use, let's see, which one do I want to use? I think I'm going to go ahead and use the Flower Beauty Light Illusion coverage, and it is in the color Light. Now, this is going to be very different from what you've seen me do in the past. This is where not just the foundation hacks are going to come in. This is going to be the true test right here. This, to me, is going to be what really sets it apart as far as the way that we're going to set this, the way we're going to apply it, and it's going to give you a much more youthful look overall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into with my concealer. I'm not going to swipe it underneath. I'm not going to do the triangle. It's too much product for someone with mature skin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm just going to kind of dot right in the center there. I'm going to dot out there, okay? And then right there in the middle, just a tiny little dot, because that's where the least amount of product is. Then I'm going to go in and I'm going to work from the outside of my eye area towards the center. And I'm just going to bounce with my Beauty Blender just a little bit. Just enough to spread it out. Then I'm going to go in with my ring finger. To me, this is one of the things that makes a huge difference. Using your finger, the warmth of your finger settles that product much better. Plus, with your finger, you can move that product down way more precisely. Okay, what this seems to do, and I'm not sure why or how, but because I'm using my finger, and I don't know if it's the warmth of my finger, I don't know if it is the fact that the Beauty Blender is wet, I don't really know what it is, but I have just found that not only does it give me a great amount of coverage, and you can see the difference, it does not look cakey. And I mean, let's face it, that's what we're all looking for, right? We want something that's not cakey. So I'm going to go in and do the same thing. Okay, because that's really all I need. And I'm not going to be trying to highlight the rest of my face at all. Let me go in and just spread with the Beauty Blender just a little bit. Just about like that right there. And then I'm going to go in with my finger. And I'm going to do the rest with my finger. I'm just tapping very gently. It gives a finish, especially with the finished look. It gives the most unbelievable finish. It's so smooth and hydrated looking. And that's what we're looking for. I think all of us, regardless of age, we're looking for something that is very dewy and very youthful and that sort of thing. And there's just something about using your finger that I've discovered that really, you know, makes a huge, huge difference. So you can see now that my face is beginning to lighten up. The color is not as bad off from my hot body as it was. You can go in and you can, you know, work around your nose in particular areas with that finger, but it makes a huge difference. This is the big trick though. This to me is the absolute main part of this situation. I take my setting spray. Now I am using the Scandinavia setting spray. It's my favorite, y'all know that. But this to me is what really, really, really does, it's just everything. I saw somebody do this, I don't even remember, it was just a random video that I watched, but I saw her do this and I thought, you know, I'm gonna try that. Gosh, this is an amazing tip and you have to try it. Even if it's just once, you have to try it. This is gonna seem a little odd, but trust me on this. It is amazing. So I'm gonna take my setting spray and my Beauty Blender. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just spray 2 pumps into the point of my Beauty Blender. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in over and I'm gonna set by just lightly dabbing everywhere that the concealer went. Guys, look how smooth versus this. Do you see all the fine lines and wrinkles here? Look how smooth. Guys, best tip ever. So let me go in. I've got a piece of glitter right there that doesn't want to go anywhere. This, using the setting spray on top of the concealer has been a heavenly discovery. Heavenly. It smooths out those fine lines, and it gives me such a youthful, smooth under eye area. And it's not something that goes away. It doesn't go away at all. So I'm going to let that dry just a little bit. Once it dries, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start setting. And I'm going to go in with my Laura Mercier loose powder, and I'm going to set my face the way that I normally would. I'm just going to go in with my brush that I would use, and I'm going to just put a little bit in the cap, just like that right there, just a little bit. And then I'm going to go underneath the eye, and I'm going to set my eye down just like that. Do the same thing on this side. And I have found that if I go through the forehead and T-zone with the loose powder, especially my upper lip, if you have a lot of wrinkling here, if you're a smoker, you drink out of a straw, which I do. I have a lot of wrinkling here. So, yeah. I just set my under eye and everything. See how smooth, guys? It has been an amazing trick to find that. I absolutely love doing that. Then I go in with my pressed powder for the rest of my face, and I do set the rest of my face because I don't like any stickiness. I don't like anything that, you know, feels odd or anything like that. You know, I don't like feeling like it's humid just because my face isn't set. So I just go in, I go over the areas that I went in my face in the T-zone, but I pretty much leave my under eyes the way they are because, like I said, the more product you add, the more chance of it looking dry and crepey, which gives you that look of age. Okay, so now that I have gone over and I've set my entire face, it's time to go in and do my contour, my bronzer, my blush, and my highlight. And I will be back when I have finished that, and I will have finished my eyes and everything, and I will show you guys the finished product. This has been amazing. It's a must try. It really is. It has given my under eyes, it really, once you set it, your entire face, when everything's done, you'll see. Just wait. Okay, guys, that's it. This is the final look. I finished my eye makeup. I was filming that video. So what I'm going to do now, the last thing I have left to do, is just put on some lipstick. I think I forgot that I didn't have lipstick on in my last intro that I worked on when I was doing this eye look. That's okay. I went with a neutral. This is the Milani Matte Naked. I really love Milani lipsticks, but this is what you would see if you were to use the tips and tricks that I have shown you in this video. I really like the way that my skin looks doing this. It's a much more youthful look. I really like the glow that I have, and I think that my skin looks very natural and neutral with lots of coverage, and it's hard to have both. And I really do like the way that I've been doing my foundation. I feel better about myself and the way that my makeup looks, and I hope that you guys enjoyed watching my new techniques, and that's going to be it. Don't forget, if you like this video, to give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new. I would love to have you as part of my YouTube family. Guys, that's going to be it, and I will talk to you later. Bye!